Hi everyone, John from RCD. Thanks for joining me and welcome to a look at the new Armattan 226 quadcopter. I just got this in the mail today. It's the latest release from Armattan. 226 means it's 226 millimeters from motor to motor, so this is a very small but very powerful quadcopter. Now if you haven't heard of Armattan before, they are quickly becoming known for some very aerobatic and fast quadcopters and tricopters, as well as very durable machines. In fact, this quadcopter frame, including the arms and center plate, are warranted for life. That means if you break or damage one, Chris over at Armattan will replace it for free. It's $270 for receiver ready, $240 if you want a kit, and it's $80 just for the frame. So you can get whatever flavor you like. There it is. Looks like it's packed very nicely. There's the A for the Armattan. And we've got a bunch of peanuts here. So here it is. I told you it's a little quadcopter. I'm going to go ahead and get it out, clean it up, and we'll take a closer look at it. And here is the Armattan 226 out of the box, and it is exactly 226 millimeters from motor to motor. Also in the box are the 6-inch props with the prop nuts. We'll set those aside for right now. Take a look at the quadcopter. Very clean build. I think it looks great. And this is a really powerful looking little machine. You've got these big motors on a tiny frame, Velcro for the battery, and this takes 3-cell 2200 packs. So you can see that's a huge battery, huge motors. This is going to be a little monster mini quad, a little pocket rocket, and just looks really great. So the frame is carbon fiber. You can see the twill carbon fiber there. 4mm thick arms, 2mm thick center plate, and the arms and center plate are warranted for life. So if you break an arm or center plate, Chris over at Armattan will replace that for you. The top plate is not warranted, so it's just the arms and the center plate. We've got the 1800 kV motors rated up to 3S for battery packs, and we've got 30 amp ESCs on each arm, and those are rated up to 6S, so you could actually use them for other applications if you want. Of course, the KK 2.1 board in the center, talk about that a little bit more in a second, and we've got a low voltage alarm right over here. So that's a look at the quadcopter. Let's go ahead and talk about the setup. So I went ahead and took off the screws for the top plate, just so we can see the flight control board a little bit better. You don't have to remove the top plate to install your connectors. They will fit in the little space right there. So this is just so you guys can see the board a little better. And just as a reminder, you know, when you're going to set things up and get things ready for flying, make sure you don't have the props on. Take them off or don't put them on in the first place, because the last thing you want to do is have this thing spool up inside near your face. That will not be a fun experience, I can guarantee it. So here's the board. You have the choice of KK 2.1, multi-wii, or acro. I went with the KK 2.1 because I have a multi-wii on another quad, and I'm not a real experienced or great aerobatic quad pilot, so I wanted to kind of stay away from the acro, so I decided to try the KK 2.1. Now what's nice about this is it comes with 2 profiles on the board, which are set up identical, and they're from Steve of KK fame for Armattan. And basically they're relatively tame. They're not going to be for aerobatics, but the nice thing is you can adjust the stick scaling and the PID settings of one of the profiles and save the other as your default or backup of what basically comes from the factory. So if you don't like what you're doing, you can always go back to the original settings. You have the motors, motor leads installed, M1 through M4 over here. This is the front, by the way. This is the back with your little buttons for programming it. And then you have your connectors for your receiver over here. So once you get your receiver bound to your radio, and I'll be using an AR6100 receiver and a DX18 radio, you just need to connect it with 5 male-to-male connectors like this, and you just need short ones. You don't need long ones. I'll put a link for Servo City where you can pick some of these up. And they'll just go in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, black wire facing to the outside, yellow wire facing to the inside, and pretty straightforward. So from front to back, you have aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, and gear. One more time, aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, and gear. That's front to back. And the gear switch is so you can toggle between self-level mode and acro mode. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and set up the receiver and get it installed, and then we'll be ready to go fly it. All right, guys, before we go fly, I just wanted to show you this thing with the props on. You can see how tight the tolerances are. These 6-inch props are really pretty massive for this tiny quadcopter. Receivers ready to go, everything works. To arm the flight controller, once you plug in the battery, you do right rudder with 0 throttle. Just put the rudder over to the right, that will arm it. Disarm it, left rudder. So let's go fly. Alright guys, there is some flying of the Armattan CF226 quadcopter. Just a really fun little quad with insane amounts of power. All the flying I did was on the stock settings on the board, so I did not change the stick scaling or the PID settings, so all of that was either in auto level mode or in acro mode. And as you can see, just a very stable, very easy to fly quadcopter. If you hit that throttle, this thing will take off like a rocket. It will just shoot straight up and get small very, very quickly. So if you're going to fly it inside, be very careful on that throttle, because with those 1800 kV motors, 6-inch props, 3-sail 2200 packs, this thing will just shoot straight up. It's a rocket ship. I did not do any flips or rolls, that kind of stuff, because you do need to adjust the settings to do that. And if you do YouTube search for Armattan quadcopters, you can see plenty of videos with people flying these with a lot more aerobatic capability than myself, and you can really get an idea of what these things can do. Just a fantastic little quadcopter. And as I mentioned, it has a fully warranted frame, and that is transferable. So if you buy this quadcopter secondhand, the warranty transfers with it. Break the frame and it will be replaced. And just a quick look at the bottom of the quadcopter. I did add a small Velcro strip there to the bottom plate just to hold that battery a little bit better, especially good when you're going to start doing some very aggressive maneuvers. Flight time on the 2200 3-cell packs was about 5 to 7 minutes per pack, basically mixed flying. And just to mention one more time, guys, if you do order a receiver-ready version, essentially what is a plug-and-play version of an Armattan quadcopter, be it this one or another model, Chris will shoot you your own personal YouTube video showing you the quadcopter, the features, and a test hover. I think that's a really nice little touch that Armattan does, and it must keep him incredibly busy to do that. So that's it, guys. This is the Armattan CF226 quadcopter, a powerhouse of a little quad, a little pocket rocket, a lot of fun to fly, and very stable as it comes from Armattan. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up or subscribe. I always appreciate that, and I will see you flying next time. Bye-bye.